Good evening and welcome to Truth, Health, and Wellness. I'm Lacey Klontz and I am here with the famous Dr. Matt and Deborah St. John.
Infamous.
Hey
man.
guys.
How
No
are you
such
doing?
thing as infamous. No. So how are you all doing this week?
We're good. We're a little tired. It's been a wild, crazy couple of weeks. We've
Yeah.
a lot of busy stuff. I've seen a lot of everything basically lately. We see everything from bee stings to
Bee stings?
yeah, clinical depression. And everything in between.
I was
So-
going to say, what is the difference in those?
Bee sting. Yeah, we had someone come in yesterday with a bee sting. Their daughter had sent them in.
It was a wasp, and her whole little, hand and thumb area was red,
Oh, yeah.
swollen, and kind of hard.
Poor thing.
It was-
What'd you recommend?
I recommended our P77 formula.
For a bee sting?
Yeah, to help with the inflammation for the possible infection, because it looked pretty rough. And then a Tommy Bass salve on top of it to help with the itching and the.
A Tommy who?
Tommy Bass.
Oh, you've spoken
Yeah,
about
Tommy
him.
Bass was the herbalist who
Yeah.
he lived until about 1996, and he's probably still the most renowned folk herbalist ever to have been in the United States. And he lived over in Leesburg, Alabama. So he was. I remember meeting Tommy the day I turned 16 years old, and that actually sort of changed the course of my life. And so, there's a salve that he made that had actually been passed down through 6 generations to Tommy. And now there's only one man on the earth that makes the salve, and it's Daryl Patton, who actually wrote a few of the books on Tommy Bass, and he's considered to be probably the top herbalist in the country as far as identification of plant medicine now. So he just lives in Gadsden, so he's a good friend of mine. We're always going back and forth. And matter of fact, I need to get with him tomorrow, I think, about some stuff, about some herbs.
Maybe he could be a guest on the show sometime.
There you go. That'd be great. Oh, he would love that.
But
most
not
likely.
before Cookie. Why is she not in here?
She's out in the van right now. We just didn't have Brittany with us. We need our daughter here to kind of help with Cookie, and so we need to have that pet help.
need to plan it, yeah.
Right.
But yeah, but we got a message back from the ladies, the lady that came in with the bee sting's daughter, and she's saying that the lady's doing great. We're being
Good,
appreciative.
that's
It was so
great.
sweet, really sweet message that we got right before we came in. So that's always nice. Get us a little fired up before
That's
we get here.
uplifting.
Yes, it's nice to be uplifted.
Yes, always. So now, besides bee stings, depression, last week we talked about constipation. What
That's
else
fine.
are you seeing this week?
Eye health. I've been hearing a
What was
lot
that?
of eye health.
Oh, I
People
can
with,
talk all day about that one.
With eye stuff that they want to improve, basically.
Yeah, and then there are traditionally some things that we use like bilberry, which is a fruit that's been used for years. The British pilots were known to use bilberry jam during World War II.
Bilberry,
Yeah,
okay.
bilberry, yeah, and it's and then also eyebright and ginkgo, and these are typically herbs that promote circulation to the appendages. There's also supplements like lutein and other carotenoids that can help a lot. We have a formula called Eye Power. That's a combination formula. It's I with the letter I and then power. That was the best I could do. I named most
love
of these
that.
formulas. Yeah, Happy Now is still my favorite.
Well,
one.
of course. Now, let me ask about all of these different things for your eye. Is that for vision or eye pain, or what specific to the eye?
It's more for vision improvement and circulation, but hopefully prevention of macular degeneration.
And just health in general,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
With the eye,
Optical health.
keeping it all healthy and well.
Then
That's
there's
really
Sananga. You ever heard of Sananga? Have we talked about
Sounds
Sananga?
like silicaga.
Yeah, silicaga. Somebody told me that silicaga meant bird droppings in Cherokee. Yeah, like they tricked them at the last minute and said, by the way, since you took our land, it's called silicaga. But I don't know that
okay.
that's true. Somebody needs to correct me if I'm wrong.
I think it's Buzzard's Roost. I think I looked it up.
Buzzard's Roost? Well, that's almost as bad.
Buzzard's Roost.
But anyway, not silicaga, Sananga. And Sananga is a really interesting, it's an eye drop. They use it in Peru. Its active ingredient is actually called ibogaine. Which is kind of an interesting constituent. It's also found in an herb called iboga. And in Africa, this herb iboga grows pretty easily. But it's something that when people consume it, they have hallucinations for up to a day, up to 24 hours.
It really makes you see.
See some stuff. Yeah, I met a guy in St. Augustine, Florida, who we were talking. He said, well, I went to an iboga retreat. And I'm like, whoa, how'd that go? And he said, well, 24 hours later, I'm a changed man. He'd literally changed careers. His PTSD was cured, yada, yada, yada. But of course, the ibogaine or iboga is not a legal plant in the United States. However, Sananga is a legal plant. It's a tea that they make from a plant. and it's pretty wild because it's been used. It has clinical studies, and it's supporting its use in macular degeneration, cataracts, also eye health in general, vision improvement. And we had an individual who found out about that we had Sananga, and they're sort of a unique person. They're willing to do things non-traditional. So they kept wanting us to. They're like, well, did you bring back some Sananga? And I said, yes, I did. And I told them the story about the time that we were going to first sit down and have Sananga. So I laid down. I was going to be the one who used it first. Deborah, my registered nurse wife, was going to apply the drops in my eyes. So I laid down and I looked at her and I said, well, honey, let me just get one more good look at you before you put those drops in. And so she looks at me and then she says, well, I'm not going to do it. So she didn't do it because, of course, I was concerned I might go blind. And so we went actually back to the Amazon, got another bottle of Sananga from a Fernando, shaman friend of mine, and we bring them back. And this time Deborah's like, well, you do most of the driving, so how about I use the eye drops first? And
Right.
How'd it go?
Well, I can still see.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's good. That's a plus.
So she laid down, and I put a drop in each of her eyes, and she laid there, she closed her eyes, she made a little grimace, and she was like, well, you're going to hate this. And I'm like, okay, how are you doing? She's like, well, it's pretty rough.
Did it burn?
It burned really bad.
It burns terribly, right in your eye. More like an ice pick, really. But so she gets through with
Ooh.
it. She gets through with it, and she's like, well, that was pretty rough. And I'm like, well, it's my turn. So I lay down on the couch, and she puts a drop in each of my eyes. The first eye was easy to put the drop in, but when the bolt of electricity hit my soul, it was kind of hard to keep the other eye open, but we did. So she put the other drop in. I immediately assumed the fetal position. I had her turn off the lights. I told her to quit talking. I needed to turn the radio off, and I just needed, however many minutes. Now hers lasted, what, 5 minutes?
7.
7 minutes. Mine lasted a full 10 minutes, where I'm laying there with what feels like electricity shooting into my eyes. Now I know this is really appealing to everybody watching, and so
Fetal position.
oh, I'm curled up like a baby.
Did you?
No.
Oh no.
Have you ever noticed the difference in how men and women handle pain?
Yeah, I wonder why.
Where's the science behind that?
Oh, there's some. Well, I mean, yeah. So she's way tougher than me. So yeah, we get through, and it's pretty amazing because number one, you feel better, which is really from the ibogaine, really, and that's a long story. But you start seeing clearer. Your definition is increased just from one dose. And so this individual came to us and said, I want to have Sananga drops placed into my eyes. And we said, okay, sign this disclaimer. And,
Oh, no.
Oh, I'm not joking.
Does it talk about potential blindness? What's the disclaimer?
Well, the disclaimer basically says this is going to hurt really bad.
That's all it
Yeah,
is.
And we're not responsible for anything. But anyway, so they did the disclaimer, no problem. And then I put the eye drops in their eyes. 3 minutes after I put the drops in their eyes, they're opening their eyes. Now it took me a full 10 minutes. Took her 7. They're opening their eyes within 3 minutes. And I'm like, well, what's up with you? Well, they had they're the type, they'd had a Harley-Davidson accident, and almost every bone in their body was broken, just ripped to pieces. They actually had a, what was it, something about a severed aorta, and they'd had it repaired. They had never had a successful surgery of that type before. This person had been through a lot physically,
Yeah.
and so their pain tolerance, I doubt it was through the roof, but yeah, within 3 minutes they're fine. Well, he started coming in weekly and even bi-weekly. After about the 4th or 5th time that he had them, his wife came along with him. And she's like, well, I really don't have vision problems, but I want to try this anyway. And I'm like, well, you just are a glutton for punishment. So we applied the drops to her, and then she comes back again. And after a couple of trips back, she says that basically her mood and her emotions, and she was so much improved, and she was having basically she was laughing and cutting up, smiling when she wasn't really a smiley person. And so it was just making her feel wonderful. Now, by this time, the individual, the fella, he had came back and he said, you won't believe this. And he wrote this review on some medical website that's talking about us and everything, but he left us a 5-star. But the
Good, as you should.
yeah, really, especially after all this. And so he basically went to the eye doctor. He had been slated for cataract surgery. For the pre-op, goes in, they look at him again. They're like, what's going on? He's like, what do you mean? And they're like, what have you been doing? He said, well, I've been doing these eye drops. They're like, what are the eye drops? They wrote it down. And the eye drops were, of course, Sananga. And his vision had improved 400%. And he no longer had cataracts he no longer needed cataract surgery. And he was able to drive at night without glasses, and he was not even allowed to drive at night with glasses prior to.
So even someone with just a slight, like, their vision's really not all that bad, just a little bit, it would really,
Possibly.
it would probably give you 20/20?
And we do have studies that go along with this, and it's pretty exciting when you see these South American studies on this plant that's like been used for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Right.
Effectively. They use it in the jungle to help with night vision, and also to help with any type of ocular problem. So it's the first go-to that they have. So it's not for the faint of heart. It's certainly something that's very unique. But it's neat to have access to things like that.
That is neat. Now I kind of want to piggyback on this. What about severe eye pain and dry eye disease?
We had someone come in for actually who was dealing with dry eyes, and we had put them on omega-3s. Just omega-3 fatty acids, and that makes a big difference in people who, not only with your eyes, but other parts of the body that are dry, and it's something that helps bring moisture to the body, but also helps protect the cells. Our body's cells throughout are protected by lipids, in particular omega-3s, and so using and supplementing omega-3s normally helps a lot with protection of the cell membrane. And it's really cool too, because so many people around here are deficient in omega-3s. And one of the first signs of omega-3 deficiency in children is, of course, behavioral disorders. So we have so many people that will take and they'll put their kids on a simple omega-3, and then once their kid's on an omega-3 for like a few weeks, they're like, oh my goodness, it's a miracle, it helps tremendously. It was like,
they're behaving.
Right, it's like, well, they would have done the same thing if you had had fresh fish to have fed them 2 or 3 times a week. But of course, where do you get fresh fish around here that's decent?
The lake.
Just
kidding. I'm messing with you.
Yeah.
I know the answer to that.
Yeah, it's rough, and you can't hardly eat out of the lakes, most of the lakes. I mean, I guess you could go to Waddawi, and you can't, a lot of the grocery stores, the fish is from, farm raised in Vietnam or wherever, and I just don't know that they have our best interest at heart when they're growing the fish in ponds in Vietnam.
So where do we get the best fish before we go to break? Where would you recommend? Or any seafood? Well,
Publix will have some here and there, and they actually tell you where the fish is from. So that's an option, but also, what's that place in Gadsden? Cape Side. Cape Side in Gadsden has a lot of good fresh fish, and they run to Destin quite often. So there are some options available within at least a 30-mile radius.
You want to make sure it's fresh caught and from a place that is not toxic.
Right. Yeah. Chocolaca Creek, no. If they have 3 heads, don't eat them.
Wow. So, moral of the story, go to Publix. And on that note, we will be right back after these messages. Don't go away.
You may not believe it, but it's true. The 2024 Team 1 Chevys are here. All 23-24 Silverado light duties have 2.9% financing for 72 months. The hottest new 2024 Team 1 Chevy Blazer, 1.9% financing and no payments till April. And the #1 selling family vehicle, the Equinox. 24 models. You got it. 1.9% financing and no payments till April. Team 1 Chevrolet, home of the best people, the best service, period.
Some say college isn't for single parents or people who work full-time. I'm here to prove them wrong. I'm a first-generation American, the father of Dion, and a non-traditional student at Gadsden State Community College. As a sergeant in the Army National Guard, I've watched soldiers with degrees progress faster in their careers. So today, I'm in school, involved in the Veterans Upward Bound program, and excited to see what's in store for my career. I truly am earning my wings at Gadsden State.
I'm Alan Parnell with Parnell Insurance Agency. We've been here in Oxford and Alabama, Tallapoosa, Georgia since 1990. With Auto Owners Insurance, we're able to give customers competitive pricing along with excellent coverages. Parnell Insurance can handle all of your personal, commercial, and life insurance needs. We have a very experienced staff, both personal and commercial. All together, we've got about 125 years experience. Come see what our insurance agency can do for you in Oxford, Alabama, and Tallapoosa, Georgia.
Auto Owners Insurance.
At Campers Unlimited, we offer a no-pressure experience, no hidden fees, and great service after the sale, making us one of the fastest-growing RV dealers in the Southeast. With our second location in Oxford, we offer a great selection of over 220 campers from top brands, including Grand Design. Our mission is to help friends and family spend time together in the great outdoors. At Campers Unlimited, you aren't just a customer, you are family. Check out our inventory at campersunlimited.net or come see us at Gadsden or Oxford.
Health and Wellness. I'm Lacey Klontz with Dr. Matt and Deborah St. John. Now, random question, because I know you like just when I throw them at you.
Right.
Okay, for both of you, what does a typical day look like for what you're eating? What is your everyday, what do you eat?
Good question.
Well, today I cooked organic eggs for breakfast, non-GMO grits,
What?
and
Non-GMO grits.
Where?
Yeah, really hard to find.
Okay.
Yeah, very hard to
We'll
find.
talk
the
about
ones
that.
we have actually came from St. Augustine
Yep.
that we're eating right
From
now.
a farmer in St.
From a farmer's
Augustine.
market.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah, and you can also get them at a certain day in section at their farm market. They bring
Section,
their
Alabama.
They bring their grit mill and
From the
they-
Mennonite.
Yeah, they
Mennonites
mill.
out
Okay,
there. Yeah.
okay.
And then we had turkey sausage that I cooked, and yogurt.
Had a little bit.
And
This is all
then-
breakfast still?
That's all for
Yeah,
breakfast.
That's a lot of breakfast. It sounds good.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
Then for lunch,
too.
I had made some homemade chicken salad with organic chicken, organic mayonnaise,
Organic
some
grapes.
pecans, grapes,
Grapes and mayonnaise.
Organic
Oh.
mayonnaise. Yeah.
organic bread,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and a couple of bananas, and a.
Did pretty good.
Is that about it for lunch? I
That's
think?
about all we had for
Yeah.
lunch. Yeah, we were flying.
And then for dinner, what did we do?
For dinner, we went to Mango's and had fajitas.
So there you go.
Sorry. Shout out to Mango's. Thanks for
So
feeding us.
you
so
are
fast.
humans.
Yeah, we have to. We did
You
bring
do
our
eat
water
some-
bottle. Yeah, we had our water bottle on the table, so we sit down like nerds and then we have our water bottle.
That
so we
is
don't
so
we don't drink the
funny.
water. But yeah, sometimes you just have to hurry. And
We
do
also
something.
brought a little organic pepper that one of our employees grew
Okay,
for
cool.
us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we nibbled on that along with the fajitas, but we can't guarantee the fajita. Now they used to use homemade tortilla. No, what do they call them? Tortillas, yeah.
Flour
tortillas,
tortillas.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But they don't do that anymore there at Mango's. Come on, Mango's. Do it
But
again.
also, when we get home, we will take a round of our environmental defense system,
Right.
which will get out, some of the toxins that we
Mm-hmm.
probably consumed during some of our day.
We'll have a little fruit. It was a mentally active day, but a physically inactive day.
Understood.
So I would have normally we'd eat more protein, a little bit more protein, or I have a protein smoothie or something like that additionally during the day. But we're just doing nothing but driving and talking all day. So it was sort of a lower calorie day for us today.
That makes sense. Yeah, it's funny. My dad, he asked me the other day, he said, so the doctor and his wife, if they just go to a friend's house or a family's house for a barbecue, I mean, do they even eat any of the stuff there?
Well,
do.
we do. I mean, we're
We
not
do.
ridiculous with it. There are times where we went on the cruise ship. We had to eat cruise food,
You had
ship
to,
food
yeah.
for a week,
Where you starve,
or
yeah.
at least 5 days. And so we were being very picky. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they guys came out with the juices that they were putting in the juice machines.
Right.
And there was this one juice. It was really good. It was like passion fruit something or
Guava
another, guava
something.
passion fruit.
Yum.
And so we don't drink alcohol. We don't drink soft drinks
Mm-hmm.
unless they're Olapops. But then we turn around and. So they have the juices, like the concentrate, sitting there. And I told Deborah, I'm like, well, this is probably going to hurt my feelings. Because I walked over and I wanted to read the nutrition label.
Right.
So I asked the guy, I says, do you mind if I look at this? He says, yeah, I don't care. So I picked up the thing, I look over at it, and I thought the first ingredient would be like high fructose corn syrup. No, it was just, it was sugar. And it was like, and then it was the fruits, and there really wasn't that much bad in it.
Wow.
So I told Deborah, I said, well, we got a juice now.
Yeah.
So
We try to do the best we can,
Yeah.
but we have to eat out. We're on the go a lot.
Right,
We travel
yeah, I
a lot.
know.
we got 4 kids.
We do the best we can, but we constantly are cleansing. We have,
That's
we take supplements on a daily basis to try and chelate, to get stuff out, to
Yeah.
detox.
the bad stuff, the
you go.
pesticides, the herbicides, all the things that we have in our foods.
Right.
So we do constantly detox.
And we filter all of our water, and that's a big deal too.
Yeah.
That is a big deal. So speaking of stuff to eat, thank you so much for bringing me this.
Yes.
What is
Yeah.
this? Is the grape?
That's a
okay?
grape Olipop. Yeah.
have not tried these.
We had some sort of drink last time that we looked at, and it had 3 or 4 different horrible chemicals in it. That's ours. Yeah.
Yeah, these actually have cassava root, chicory root.
Prebiotics.
They have Nepal cactus, marshmallow root, calendula flower, kudzu root.
Marshmallow root. What?
Marshmallow root.
Yeah, it's a plant, and it's
yeah.
really good for.
Doesn't taste like marshmallows.
It's really good for basically helping your your esophagus, your throat, all the way.
Yeah,
through.
and it does have some carbonated water in it, which some people argue is unhealthy. Actually, there's no science behind that.
It's sweetened with stevia,
All
A little
right.
bit of stevia.
I like stevia.
There's 4 grams of sugar per can.
and it has 45 calories per can.
Gonna see if I like it. Let's find out.
Think Grapico.
Whew, that's not bad at all.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
a little extra bubbly semen.
I was
you
gonna say, I
know.
like the
It's
aftertaste
got
too.
a-
That's
so
where
it has- yeah,
that's where it
it gets
pops.
you. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for
Of course,
bringing
these
it
things
to
are like
me.
$4 a can, so they're not cheap. But it also makes sure that he can not get that addicted to them, and you don't knock
Right.
that many down in a day when they're $4 a can.
That is a good
They're
alternative
cheap.
too.
It really is.
It's
But
really not bad.
They're one of the
at all.
only. Rather than being a soda company that decided they would try to just fake being healthy, they literally said, "Well, let's have a healthy soda," and then they worked around that. They have tons of flavors. I mean,
All kinds of flavors.
everything from cola to yeah.
Root beer.
I'm looking at a Coke in the control room there or something. I think it
Oh,
might have been
what?
Pepsi. What is that?
That's a Dr. Pepper, isn't
Dr.
it?
Pepper,
He said,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
I got
well.
a diet one in the car that I was drinking.
Yeah, well,
Sorry.
it's okay. We can't,
You know.
It's one of those things. It's all about balance.
And I do want to specify to all of you watching that is not the nasty sparkling water.
No.
That stuff is awful.
No,
Yeah, it's like
that-
it has no calories. You're like, well, yeah,
You
it better
see
not
why?
because it tastes like
And
dirt.
it's terrible. That is not what that is, and it does taste good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Because
good.
I do not like the TV static water. That's what I call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Tastes
not
like
good.
TV
Like if
static.
TV static had a taste, that's what it is.
They're pretty bad.
I know. So I actually have a question from someone.
Cool.
She wants to know what are good supplements and foods to help with chronic constipation. And we were talking about that a lot last week too.
Well, there's several things. I mean, we think about chronic constipation. A lot of times leads me to believe that there may be a magnesium deficiency.
Interesting.
And so, supplementation of magnesium for a lot of people can just rectify the problem. No pun intended. Sorry, I had to.
Oh, that's great.
Thanks. But it's really important to make sure you have the right amount of magnesium and fiber, dietary fiber.
Fiber is
Notice
a
that
big
they're
deal.
advertising on this.
There's inulin and all kinds of fibers.
Prebiotics, dietary fiber. It's not that you're going to have this and it's going to be a laxative or anything, but it's going to help. Anything that helps as far as probiotics, your friendly bacteria. That's another thing that you have to look after is your probiotics, like whether or not you're taking a good probiotic, whether or not you're taking and feeding the probiotics, whether or not your gut's healthy to start with. If you're not, well, we already had the constipation episode last time, but as far as really, looking at there are herbs that help your colon move. There are minerals like magnesium that help your colon to operate efficiently, and then there's fiber, which helps to just, as you could imagine, just move things along through your body. And all of those are important. A lot of people are deficient in magnesium. Signs of magnesium deficiency can be restless leg syndrome, getting cramps on a regular basis, chronic constipation, and even some fibromyalgia and type symptoms and pain that people can often have. So that's what magnesium can do. Fiber is very important because fiber, they say, I read a study, sitting on the toilet, I read a study that was talking about the importance of fiber in getting rid of PFAs, plastics. That people who had
Really?
just a good standard to high fiber diet, that those people did not accumulate the same amount of plastics or PFAs from their waters that they're drinking
is
as other
interesting.
people. It's just a matter of moving along. Movement
If
and
you
activity.
stay still for too long, it's bad. You want to just keep
Right.
it moving.
And let's mention that as well, because if you're exercising, any exercise, even resistance exercise, even doing weights or free weights and that sort of thing, that can make a big difference in your elimination. So people who are
Interesting.
active are going to be more likely to
Because it
eliminate.
keeps stuff moving, right?
Right. Just, if you want to move your colon,
Gravity.
literally move your colon. Take your legs, lay down on the ground, do some leg lifts, get on a rebounder. I had someone come in today, they said that all they did was like 3 minutes twice a day of their rebounder. You know what a rebounder is? A little trampoline.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So they just jump
I
up
didn't
and
know
down.
that's what those were called.
Yeah, rebounder. Yeah, it's a fancy word for it. It's not really that fancy, but who can't get a trampoline? I mean, go to Facebook Marketplace, put mini trampoline, and there's like people that want to give them away. Please come get this stupid trampoline that's been sitting in my garage for 4 years. So people want it, but if you just do that, this lady had actually lost. She said, I thought I was getting fat. I realized that it was just cellulite, and it was just basically needing to have that movement. 3
Right.
minutes twice a day, completely. I mean. Well, you remember seeing her come in, one ponytail, and she was fit as a fiddle. I mean, she was looked like she worked out, and that's all she does is bounce up and down for 3 minutes twice a day.
I have a cousin, and when he was a little kid, he had one of those teeny tiny trampolines in his room, and he would jump on it while he watched TV.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Is that even better?
And today he's a
great.
gymnast.
Yeah.
No.
No, he's morbidly obese and drinks all the time.
No,
I'm
he's
just
not.
kidding. I'm
He's
just kidding.
very fit.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
It started right.
Started out right. Well, I mean, any kid that would sit and watch TV. Unfortunately, I didn't sit and or I didn't stand and jump on a trampoline when I watched cartoons. I ate Frito-Lay. And then
Yum.
and then so I needed to lose 80 pounds when I was 16 years old, but that's another story.
I feel that.
Well, what about the compress? Castor oil compress.
Okay, that's so cool because when this conversation started, I thought about that and of course forgot
that?
it. Well, we had a lady who was she was slated for surgery to have 8 inches of her colon removed. Okay, she had was it Crohn's? Yeah, she had severe Crohn's, and so she had read somewhere. I love when people read somewhere. She had read somewhere that if you applied a hot or warm compress of castor oil over the belly at night, that it could heal gut issues. So she started doing that.
That's interesting.
Okay, she did it for 3 months, and she went for her surgical consult, and they were able to tell her that she no longer needed the surgery.
That's a testimony right
Yeah,
there.
it was awesome. I mean, she's given me this. I didn't do this. I wasn't the one who recommended it, unfortunately.
Wow.
She came to me to tell me about this.
That's incredible.
So just a warm compress, which could be like a hand towel, dipped in warm castor oil, just laid over the stomach, and you just sit there and watch Andy Griffith while you have it.
Andy Griffith.
Why not?
It's a good show.
It is. And that's another. People talk about how do I sleep? What can you do to help me sleep? Andy Griffith. Andy Griffith can help you sleep. Lately, yeah. Now, can you do the theme song for
King of the Hill.
King of the Hill? So we've been actually watching King of the Hill. Not
It's
quite.
the best show ever,
It is-
besides this one.
It's crazy. We're actually watching we're on season 8, which is as far as we've ever gotten, and we only can watch that with our daughter Brittany because she wants to be with us to watch it. But then we're also on season 2, just me and her.
Oh, that's for rewatching.
Which strangely enough,
So
we've forgotten
you
this.
have watched it all the way through.
No, we've only
We've-
watched up to
we've
season
had
8.
to
okay.
stop to season 8.
Yeah, don't
and
tell
then-
us anything.
I'm not.
She almost did some
I almost did
spoilers.
one time.
Yeah, you
It's
remember
one of
when-
my favorite shows.
Yeah, it's not it's pretty, it's very adult. It's not necessarily, but it's that simple, mindless, kind of funny, just slap happy humor that
It's
kind of
the
helps
best.
you. It helps you go to sleep. When we pass out every other night, sometimes watching
See,
that
it
show.
just makes me laugh so much that it keeps me awake. So if you're that type, then don't.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, then watch Andy Griffith.
Right, exactly. Now, I think we've got a little bit of time left for one final question. Someone asked what supplements and foods help with hypothyroidism, and I'm going to piggyback off that and also ask about hyperthyroidism.
Iodine-rich foods can help with hypothyroidism.
Okay.
Hypothyroidism is when you have low thyroid, which is very common around this area.
Underactive,
There's chemicals such as perchlorate, which are found in areas like this that have military installations near them. Perchlorate is really dangerous, and it causes a lot of thyroid disease. We have a lot of goiter here, a lot of hypothyroidism, low T3 levels. Taking and supplementing T3, or I should say the glandular thyroid. Glandular thyroid, they used to call it armor thyroid. They're still an armor thyroid, but they've been bought out. They're not the same as they used to be. But a glandular thyroid supplement can be really good. And then iodine. Talking about foods that you could eat. You can get these seaweed snacks. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
They
funny.
don't look good.
No one likes them. Me and one of our daughters, we're the only ones, and we'll sit there and we'll eat the seaweed, and everybody else looks at us like, wow, that's disgusting.
Maybe I need to taste test
But-
that.
Yeah, well, they have some that are like,
some.
they have some that are like teriyaki and white cheddar, and they're organic. But those really can make a difference. So yeah, we doing those types of foods, seaweeds, those kelps, that can help a lot. Or just taking a supplement that has kelp or iodine in it can be a big plus too.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, everyone, thank you all so much for joining us. We will see you again right here next week. Have a great rest of your week and weekend. Take care.